Good morning and welcome to Mental Health and Motivational Mondays. This is your small dose motivator, Tam Talk, here to bring you a small dose of motivation to get your week started. So, on today's episode, I want to talk about finding your purpose, your passion, or your goals. And I'm sure we probably discussed this topic a while back, or maybe not, but let's speak on it today. And that is defining what our purpose, our passion, and our goals are or is. So I'd like to start off with a couple of questions that we need to ask ourselves. Like literally sit and ask ourselves. And the first one is, what is that thing or that topic that brightens your face when you talk about it? Or perhaps when someone else talks about it, it just makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Or what is that thing that frustrates you the most? What makes you angry? Perhaps it's like a law that was passed and you feel like it's not beneficial to maybe yourself or people you know, and you want to pursue or seek change. So either your passion or your purpose or goal is going to be aligned with something that brings you joy, or it's going to be something that makes you very upset or angry. And then it could be that thing that you do for free. What is it that you would do for free or do naturally, and it brings you joy, right? Or you feel fulfilled when completing this particular task or thing, right? So those are some of the key questions or pointers as to helping you define what your purpose, passion, or goal is. So I would use myself as an example. So I work in coding. And so when I talk about coding, or if someone talks about coding or bring it up, I'm all in. It makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside because that is something that I enjoy doing. That's something that I actually do as a career. And I would do it for free. I actually done it for free. So that right there in lines that maybe my goal or my purpose is somewhere involved in that. It may not be, I would say, that specific task, but my purpose, like what God has purpose for me, maybe I'm going to use this for example. Although I'm doing coding, right? Sometimes God may use me to reach the people within that particular community or that industry to communicate to them his love and kindness, his love, his I would say his saviorship to those in that particular community. So it may necessarily, God uses my skill set as a coder to reach those again in the coding community. And so that is just an example of how you are aligning your purpose with a skill or something that you enjoy doing. Another thing could be, again, what is it that frustrates you? Again, I reference laws because, something that we need to seek change, but the law doesn't allow for that, right? And so we want to see change. We want to see the policy change. We want to see the process change, things of that nature. So that's where, advocate comes into play. An advocate or someone who brings awareness, attention to a particular issue or topic, and they seek to, one, they are educating or enlightening, and two, they're seeking to promote change. So that is something that, again, you may, be passionate about, purpose about, and it may not, sorry, getting tongue tied here. It doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be in law or politics. It could be anything that, again, that you're passionate about. When it's done or you go about it in the right way, then, you can seek change. It makes you feel fulfilled. It makes you feel like you have a purpose here. And I'm going to say this, a lot of times, our purpose and passion may not be associated with monetary value. And I repeat that. Sometimes, or most times, our purpose and passion may not be attached to monetary value. So what I mean by that is sometimes we can have fulfillment in things or in tasks that does not bring money or payment. Now, there are some who will differ, and I would be an example of because of my background in coding is a job task. So I am getting paid to code, right? So I'm reaching people on the job, again, in that particular community. And so now I'm getting paid for that because that is a job, that a career path that I have chosen. And again, sometimes your purpose and passion may not be in the career path. And I've also heard that once you align yourself with your purpose and passion, the money will come. So in other words, don't make generating income your passion or your purpose for doing a particular task. Now, there are some that making money is the gift that God has given them, right? For those who learn, know how to manage money the right way, godly way, and so forth. So, but there are others who have other purposes and tasks, and sometimes we tend to put our primary focus on generating money from that particular purpose when that is not what God had in mind for us to do. Sometimes God just wants us to, again, pursue that purpose in alignment with Him, and the money will come. And it may not be in the form of money, it may be in the form of gifts, it may be in the form of things that you perhaps needed, right? And it didn't require you using money or spending money to get it, because again, God bless others to bless you with the things that you need. So yeah, so again, I always say when you're trying to figure out what your passion or your purpose is, sometimes again, I always say, take a moment to get still, to rest and listen to the Holy Spirit and see what God is saying to you, or what the Holy Spirit is saying to you, and what directions you will need to go. And I will also add that sometimes when God speaks to us in regards to our passion, our purpose, our goals, it's not going to always be a cakewalk. And I will say won't always be a cakewalk. Yes, we're going to go through the process. We have to go through the fire, because He is pruning things off of us that are not going to lead us to our ultimate purpose or goal. And sometimes those I call them the firestorms, are things that are going to allow us to evolve, to test test our strength, to test our passion about a particular task or subject. So so life does not come without storms. If we're in the mindset that life is supposed to come without firestorms, we are kidding ourselves. Life does come with firestorms. We just need to know how to have peace and joy in the midst of those firestorms, and to find the appropriate focus so that we can get through those firestorms. And so, so again, if you're trying to figure out what your passion or purpose is, or you're at a crossroads as to what it is that you need to be doing, again, get still and ask God, and just really ask yourself those questions as to what are those things or topics that, again, either cause you to have immediate joy, or is going to cause you to have some frustrations. And so, so once you figure out those things, then you can go into action. And there are times, and I'm going to add this caveat too, there are times that God may be calling you to do something that it is outside of your normal routine. Right? God may be calling you to do something that is outside of your normal routine. It may not be a tradition, because sometimes we get accustomed to traditions from a childhood, from family, or what have you, and it may go against the tradition. Now, I'm not saying something legal or illegal, doing something illegal. Sometimes God may call you to do a task, right? I'm going to use entrepreneurship. Maybe you come from a family that works a 9 to 5, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, you may be wanting to strike out into entrepreneurship or business, and you're fearful of that because, again, of traditions. And sometimes God will call you to do something different, out of the ordinary, right? Allow you to be the catalyst. And sometimes if we're not careful, we can miss the call because of fear, or again, because it was not in the tradition or the routine that we were accustomed to. So these are things, again, that we have to pay attention to. Asking ourselves those questions and then being able to take risks when we hear the call to pivot in a direction in which we are not accustomed to. So that's all that I have for today on Mental Health and Motivational Mondays. So I hope you take note of what I am saying as well as apply it, because without application, it's just words. And I'll repeat that. Without application, it is just words. So that's all that I have for this week. And as always, don't worry, be joyful, be grateful, and be blessed. Until next time, toodles.